Ferrari is already looking significantly ahead to the future of Formula One, with a clear focus on preparing for the upcoming regulatory changes that will define the 2026 season. With the current championship largely decided and the drivers' and constructors' standings increasingly clear, the Italian team has the opportunity to dedicate substantial time, energy, and engineering resources to develop and deepen its understanding of mechanical solutions and concepts that could prove essential for the next generation of Formula One cars. These efforts are primarily concentrated on the mechanical components of the car, which remain one of the few areas where insights gained from the current SF-25 can be directly applied to the new technical regulations defined by the FIA. Ferrari's engineers and technicians, led by the technical and performance departments, are working diligently and methodically to gain a comprehensive understanding of the performance implications and dynamic behavior of these developments, ensuring the team remains at the forefront of technical innovation. The recent and carefully considered changes to the rear pull rod suspension are proving to be highly relevant not only for optimizing the current season's performance, but also for providing insights that will be directly transferable to the next season's car. Ferrari has opted to make these modifications to the rear suspension system with the clear aim of addressing, managing, and mitigating issues related to rear-end squat, which has historically affected the stability and handling balance of the SF-25, particularly under heavy acceleration and corner exit conditions. This is a highly targeted and precise adjustment, in which the engineers modified the links of the rear suspension triangle to improve the overall management of the car's dynamic behavior on a range of circuits and track conditions. These improvements are closely connected to the performance of the car's underbody, a macro component that plays a fundamental role in the generation of aerodynamic downforce and, consequently, overall vehicle performance. The updated suspension system was introduced at the Belgian Grand Prix in Spa-Francorchamps, following a brief but technically significant test carried out at the Mugello circuit during the week prior. However, the Spa-Francorchamps weekend presented Ferrari with two key challenges that made the immediate evaluation of the new rear suspension more complex than usual. Firstly, the event included a sprint race, which significantly limited available track time for free practice, reducing it to just 1 hour for each driver to gather essential data. Secondly, the weekend was characterized by unpredictable and challenging weather conditions, including rain and variable temperatures, which further complicated the process of assessing the performance and behavior of the newly installed suspension components. These factors combined to make it difficult for the team to gain a fully accurate and precise understanding of the benefits and limitations of the new rear suspension system during that particular race weekend. Despite these obstacles, Ferrari's efforts in developing and optimizing the rear suspension yielded noticeable progress, which was further confirmed the following week during the Hungarian Grand Prix at the Hungaroring. There, car number 16, driven by Charles Leclerc, not only secured pole position in qualifying, but also delivered a consistently strong race performance, maintaining competitive pace and demonstrating improved handling characteristics until a series of technical issues emerged later in the race. Overall, the initial analysis of these two consecutive race weekends indicates that Ferrari's development work on the suspension system is yielding positive results, even if the team continues to seek further confirmation and additional refinements to fully optimize performance across different circuits and conditions. Looking ahead to the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort, scheduled for this week, Ferrari intends to take another step forward in its ongoing development program by further optimizing these recent suspension updates. The Maranello team's primary objective is to find the ideal setup for the rear suspension, aiming to make life easier and more predictable for its drivers, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Both pull rod suspension configurations, as confirmed by Ferrari technical advisor Frédéric Vasseur, could serve as a precursor to certain concepts and solutions that will be carried over into the 2026 car, allowing Ferrari to bring forward tested ideas rather than starting entirely from scratch. This strategic approach is designed to ensure continuity in knowledge transfer and to minimize potential performance risks when the new regulations are introduced. Ferrari is clearly thinking long-term, focusing on the systematic transfer of technical knowledge to the 2026 car. The historic Italian team has been preparing for the upcoming regulatory changes for an extended period, deliberately studying and experimenting with mechanical solutions that could be applied effectively once the new rules come into force. It is well known within Formula One engineering circles that both pushrod and pull-rod suspension configurations are capable of delivering similar potential results in terms of lap times and overall performance. However, with the low noses mandated for 2026, pull-rod suspension systems are theoretically better suited to this new aerodynamic philosophy and may offer improved integration with the underbody and floor design. The key question remains which suspension kinematics Ferrari will ultimately select for its next-generation car. Early indications suggest that Project 678 could incorporate kinematic principles similar to those currently employed on the SF-25, allowing the team to build upon proven solutions while adapting to the new regulatory framework. In addition to specific suspension developments, Ferrari will also bring forward a broad spectrum of mechanical knowledge and expertise that will help refine overall vehicle dynamics. It is important to emphasize that the only area where 2026 Formula One cars will begin from a completely blank sheet is in aerodynamics, particularly with respect to floor and diffuser design. Mechanically, however, teams can rely on a combination of evolution and adaptation, applying concepts and solutions that have been developed, tested, and validated over multiple seasons. This approach allows Ferrari to maintain continuity in its engineering philosophy while progressively improving performance across all mechanical systems. Aerodynamics in 2026 will be more mobile and flexible, with the floor occupying significantly less volume than in current cars, which will reduce its overall influence on performance. Looking back at the first half of the 2025 season, it is evident that nearly every team, including Ferrari's closest rivals, has focused considerable effort on suspension development and mechanical optimization. Mercedes, for instance, introduced a new rear suspension system during the early part of the season, only to make some strategic reversals after several races when performance gains were reassessed. Even updates that were initially considered less effective or discarded are now being reintroduced with modifications to improve their effectiveness. McLaren's MCL-39, driven by Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, also saw important updates to its suspension system, particularly at the front, with the goal of improving driver feedback and steering feel. Considering McLaren's exceptional management and utilization of the budget cap, beginning mechanical studies for the 2026 car while still competing in 2025 was a strategically sound decision that allowed the team to maximize both performance and development efficiency. Ferrari, meanwhile, intends to use the final third of the current racing season to consolidate and enhance its existing technical expertise. This extended development and testing period will allow the team to advance its mechanical understanding and arrive at the start of the next regulatory cycle with a higher level of preparedness and confidence. Data collection on the SF-25 will be particularly thorough starting from the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort, providing Ferrari engineers with an extensive data set to inform design decisions for the 2026 car. By carefully analyzing this information, Ferrari aims to gain a competitive edge in understanding suspension behavior, vehicle dynamics, and integration with the new aerodynamic philosophy, ensuring that both Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton have the best possible platform to deliver consistent performance in the upcoming season. Overall, Ferrari's approach highlights the importance of forward-thinking strategy, meticulous mechanical development, and the careful transfer of knowledge from the current car to the future generation. By focusing on these areas, the Maranello team is positioning itself not only to remain competitive in the 2025 season, but also to ensure that the 2026 car benefits from a solid foundation of proven mechanical concepts and innovations. This strategy reflects Ferrari's commitment to maintaining its historic reputation for technical excellence and competitive performance in Formula One, while also preparing to meet the challenges and opportunities presented by the new regulations in 2026.